Hello everyone, welcome to my channel Indian School of Physics. This is Nitin here, and today I have come up with a very interesting and amazing problem. So this problem is taken from 200 puzzling problems. So here is the statement of this. There are two uniformly charged hemispherical shells having charges Q1 and Q2 are arranged in the orientation as shown in the figure. The two shells are having radius of R1 and R2. Find the force of interaction of two shells. So as you can see here, two hemispheres are given, and some portion of one of the hemisphere, the smaller one, is inside the first one, and that angle is given as theta. So we have to find force between these two hemispheres. So let's discuss the concept part. So in order to solve this question, we are going to use a result of hemisphere, that field due to uniformly charged hemisphere at the center of it, and that formula is given by, that value is given by sigma by 4 epsilon naught, where sigma is the surface charge density on the surface of this hemispherical shell. So I'll request viewers to remember this result in order to do fast calculations, and it will be even better if you can remember for this cap, the part of sphere. If I take this part of the sphere, so it will generate a cap kind of thing, and let's say that cap is subtending angle of half angle of theta here as shown in the diagram. In that situation, electric field at the center C, this is the center C of this sphere, and this value is going to be sigma by 4 epsilon naught sine square theta. So you can check if theta equal to pi by 2, so this will generate a hemisphere, and result becomes like this. So you need to remember this result. It will be very beneficial in different situation. For any part of the sphere, you can write the value of electric field at the center, so it will be very useful formula. Let's move. We are going to solve this question almost with zero calculations. Just by mental calculation we are going to solve this question. So here, this is the orientation given, and since both the shells are positively charged, I can say whatever be the force, that must be repulsive in nature. That's my first feeling about this problem, that this force is repulsive in nature. So I'm taking that assumption, and I don't know the value of it. I'm calling this force as F naught. Its magnitude is F naught, whatever be the value of it, and this F naught only I have to calculate. All right. Now you see here, if I try to complete this shell here, if I try to complete this shell here, and this will be like a complete shell. So for a uniformly charged complete shell, for a uniformly charged shell, electric field inside is going to be 0. Now that means everywhere inside this field is 0, and if that happens, then I can say the force on the inner shell, inner hemispherical shell, due to this complete shell must be 0. So in this situation, I can say, this diagram you can refer, that net field is 0 because of this bigger shell at every point inside in this part, and when we are placing a hemispherical charge shell, then force is going to be 0 because there is no field. So I can say here that net force in this orientation between these two in this system is going to be 0, and if I can say that, then you can see I can take this part. As you can see in the next diagram, I can take this part, and I can easily say that in this situation also the force value between the shell, inner hemispherical shell and outer hemispherical shell should be F naught only, because when I combine this, here you can see on the bigger shell force is towards left, and on the smaller one it is towards right, and in this situation net force is 0, and in this case force on the smaller shell, it is towards left, and force on the bigger one towards right, and it must be repulsive, and by this logic I am getting, even in this orientation, magnitude is going to be F naught. So this is the first instant you will be getting some idea that probably this force is independent of this angle theta, but we don't know, we are not sure as of now, so I'm not going to do that. But this is the first instant when you will get that idea that there is a possibility that it may be possible that force is independent of theta. We will verify that. Now I hope all of you are convinced that in this situation also this force is F naught. All right, now I'm just rotating this diagram. I'm taking the same orientation just for my convenience sake. I'm rotating it and keeping it in this orientation. Just have a look. I know in this situation force is F naught and I'm keeping it in this manner. So both are same. So here also this force is F naught. All right, now if I complete this inner sphere completely, if I do that and I know that I have already calculated here that this orientation, this bigger sphere you see, and the part which I'm adding here, that is also same, identical. So I'm trying to complete this inner shell. So you can see when I'm bringing this extra hemispherical shell here, this orientation is somewhat original. It is similar to original question. You can see here that it is this bigger shell and this hemispherical shell. It is exactly same as the original case here. I hope it is clear to you. You can see that part now. So in this case also force is F naught. In the earlier case is also force F naught. So I can easily say in this situation now, this force I can say it is going to be 2F naught. This is also 2F naught and this is also 2F naught. This we have already said it is F naught. I hope it is clear to all of you. Already I have written here. So if this part is clear to you, we are very close to the answer now. You can see almost without calculations. Since we have arrived at this diagram. Now for all outside points, we can use the shell theorem. For all outside points, this shell will behave like a point charge concentrated at the center. So my next diagram will be, I can say that bigger hemispherical shell, and for outside points, that means for all the points on the bigger shell, this smaller inner complete shell will behave like a point charge concentrated at the center. From here this charge was Q2 and this charge is also Q2. So on this shell total charge is 2Q2. So it will appear as if there is a hemispherical shell and a point charge of 2Q2 is placed at the center. So once I know this, I can easily say that 2Q2 into field of E1 is going to be the answer for 2F naught. Please remember this force is 2F naught. Here also it is 2F naught. So this 2F naught is going to be the value of field. It will be sigma 1 by 4 epsilon naught. I have discussed in the concept part about this formula, multiplied by this charge 2Q2. So this is going to be the force. Q1 value is sigma 1 value is Q1 by 2 pi R1 square, charge per unit area. So when I substitute these values, I am going to get this answer where F naught comes as Q1 Q2 by 8 pi epsilon naught R1 square. This is going to be the answer for this problem. And if you see in the remarks, it's a very interesting result. Here the force between the two shells is independent of theta. Without using integration, we are able to comment on the force, and whatever force we are getting, we are finding it doesn't matter how much portion of the hemisphere is inside the bigger one. It is independent of angle theta. And also another very nice observation about this problem is the force between the two shells is independent of radius of a smaller shell. So whether you take R1 radius, R2 radius, R3 radius, the result is practically independent of that. Whatever radius you take, for the smaller one, it doesn't matter as long as it is smaller compared to the bigger one. So this is it. I hope you have enjoyed this problem. It's a very beautiful problem, very conceptual, and zero calculations. So such type of questions are, very potential candidate for JEE Advanced type of exam. So if you have enjoyed this, please leave a like, share this video with others, and if you haven't subscribed my channel, please subscribe it. I'll be coming up very soon with another amazing video. Thank you.